Although the VLOOKUP and the HLOOKUP are very powerful functions within Excel, they do come with some limitations. For example, within the VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP functions, we had to specify the column number or the row number to return a matching value. But let's say in our list, we add a column or delete a column. Then we would have to go back inside our formula and change the column index number. Same thing goes for if we add or delete a row. Another limitation to the VLOOKUP is that it can only look up values in the leftmost column. But we can overcome these limitations by combining two different functions, which is the index function and the match function. And you may or may not have heard of this already, but when we combine these two functions, we can look up and return matching values within our list using index and match. And what it basically does is combine the VLOOKUP with the HLOOKUP, because the index and match combined can search vertically and horizontally. So it overcomes a lot of these limitations that the VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP have. Now before we jump in and combine the index and match functions, it's important to know what the index function does and then what the match function does. So when we combine the two, we know what values that these functions are retrieving. So for this video, we will be going over the index function. And I also want to point out that we will be working inside the Index and Match sheet tab. So make sure you have this sheet selected. So let's click inside the name cell underneath Index and insert the index function and see what Excel defines this function as. So we can type in the equal sign, then index. Then we can press Tab on our keyboard to insert the function. And if we open up our function arguments window, now this window is just saying that the index function has multiple argument lists. We can just select the array, row num, and column num. Click OK. And it says here that the index function returns a value or reference of a cell at the intersection of a particular row and column in a given range. So let's start to fill out these arguments to get a better understanding of what this function does. So for our array argument, we can just select our entire range. Now for our row num and column num arguments, this is where we tell the index function the intersection of a particular row and column. So just for example, let's put 4 for the row number. And then for the column number, let's put 2. And if we click OK, let's see what our index function returns. So our formula produced Ryan. But why? Well, the intersection that we specified was the 4th row and 2nd column. So if we come over to our list and we go down 4 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then for our column number, we specified 2. So 1, 2, and there's Ryan. So this is the row and column intersection that we specified. And if we go back up to our formula bar and change the row to 6, and then change the column to 3, click enter, we get 90. Well, if we come back to our list, count down 6 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then in the 3rd column, 1, 2, 3 is 90. So that's how the index function works. And to summarize, the index function returns a value at a given location in a range of cells based on numeric positions, meaning that we had to use numeric values for the row number and the column number to specify the location of a cell and return that value that's within that cell.